throughout with, now you must help me, right, consultations, family. We spoke it in Afrikaans, and now my data is finished. Yeah, we have a slight delay, so it's going to be a touch and go as we go along, but welcome with us, Greta, and thank you very much for joining us. I hope that some people will say a few things, and we might actually have a few live comments as well.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you, Encia. Thank you, Simone. It's really a privilege to share a night with your listeners and your viewers, and what a great topic.
I don't want to tell everybody what dark side I had with trying to get the sound going and everything like that, but we are on the air. I just want to see how we're actually not so bad. We're 7 o'clock and it looks like we're on the air, so things are going well.
Yeah, that's great.
Nothing can go wrong from here.
No, nothing can go wrong. Nothing can go wrong.
So I'm gonna just start with that. We've had this whole series. I think we've had 12 episodes.
Yes.
And then we had a recap on how to become bully-proof, because there's a lot of bullying going on in our area, and actually in all the schools, where bullies would, the videos would surface every now and then, and we thought it good to have this whole thing about the bullying and so on, and how to counter bullying, how to identify it and so on. And then when I spoke to you, Greta, we had this conversation, and you said, but high-performing students also have a problem with bullying, and how do they experience it and so on. I think that's a good point to start with.
Yeah. Encia, I think one of the mistakes that we make is that we tend to think about the victim in bullying. We tend to think about the insecure child, the isolated student, the underperforming student, the struggling one. Whereas if we have a look at statistics in schools, I think there's a much higher percentage of high-performing kids that are being bullied for their performance or for their popularity. And I think it's an underestimated topic in the bullying overall topic that needs to be discussed. We see high performers, we see above average kids who really, they're really smart and really popular, but emotionally they do struggle because of the group's jealousy, insecurity, especially amongst teens. And it starts earlier and earlier, that there is I call it a social pecking order amongst kids. And they try to establish that pecking order. And as soon as somebody ranks higher than me, we call it the tall poppy syndrome. The tall poppy syndrome, many of the viewers will know, is where I feel insecure, you are taller than me, and I need to touch you down. And there are different means that I can cut you down. I can cut you down with my words. I can cut you out socially. In other words, I can just not invite you. I can start rumors or spread gossip about you. I can label you with all sorts of degrading and derogatory kind of names. I can even manipulate. I see this in schools, especially with sports. I see kids who want to outplay and outwit the high performer or the most talented child. So what they do is, let me give an example. Now you have trials in rugby or trials in netball or hockey or whatever, and then they kind of decide beforehand that we don't want her to outshine us. We don't want him to outshine us. So what we're going to do is we're not going to pass him the ball. What we're going to do is we're not going to call on his number in the lineup. What we're going to do is we're not going to pass her to get the goal. So we kind of get her out of the game so that she is not selected for the team. And so it can be very straightforward and in your face up front, but it can be very, very sneaky and very manipulative. And that is why a lot of people don't really see how high performers often struggle, because it's not as upfront as other kinds of bullying. And then a mistake that people make, teachers, parents, what they do is the moment that a high performer or a very talented or a very popular student says, but I'm being bullied, they say things like, they dismiss it. They say things like, oh, you know what, don't even mind them. They're just jealous. Oh, you know what? You should actually be flattered. You should actually see it as a compliment. Because, I mean, you are so popular that they have to do things to pull you down. Or people say, you know what? You're talented, you're strong, just keep your head down and do what you do. You know, in a few years from now, they're going to realize that they actually should have been your friend a few years from now. But the problem is the high performer and the talented child, or the popular one, is struggling emotionally in that season, in that moment. And I feel that teachers and parents often dismiss or underestimate how these kids really, really suffer. So we tend to make it, oh, don't worry, you'll be fine. Oh, turn the other cheek. Oh, don't even look at them. Don't mind them. And meanwhile, that student is really, really struggling. I mean, I've been at schools where high-performing kids or really talented students, they say academically, now they're an overachiever, they achieve really high marks, but because of the bullying, because of the constant remarks, yeah, I suppose you got 100 because you always get 100. Oh, it's just because you're the teacher's favorite. Yeah, you're the teacher's pet. Things like that. So what the academically achieving student will do is often they will stop achieving.
Yeah.
They will focus on not being as visible. Or they will ask the teacher, please don't give my marks out loud in front of the class. I've seen it in sports where kids say, I don't want to do try 8. I just want to play an average B or C or D team because I don't want to be part of the bullying. And yet we have a talented child who's actually supposed to be the captain of the A team, and now they just aim for the B team or the C team because they struggle with the bullying. Yeah, so it's an underestimated topic in schools, I think.
But Greta, I like what you said about our responses, and I want to ask Sumane because she's done a lot of saying in this discussions in this way as well. We as parents or we as older people very easily say, like you said, in a few years' time, it will be better, or so. We laugh it off because we don't understand what's going on.
100%. And Greta, I want to add to that as well what you said. I mean, obviously our high performance students, they feel like I need to reach this peak. I can't come down off this steppies. I need to reach this peak. And if I get 50% or 60% and I usually get a 90, what will people think of me? And throughout our whole series, we actually touched on that, because what will the social label, or how will I be labeled now? And that is the whole thing that comes back to the, please don't give my mark, because I'm so scared what other people will say. Also with our high-performing students, it's the whole thing of, you know, I actually do feel emotionally drained, but I can't show it. I don't know who to speak to because I'm this high-performing student. There's a label on me and I can't show the without my mask. I can't take off my mask because people see me as this perfect student. And that is so wrong, and I want to break that stigma.
Sorry, I'm checking for questions
Yeah.
as we go along. So I do apologize for interrupting. I just want to say that we have 3 already, and the topics go that it's such a important topic, which somebody wrote here. Samantha also said parents are usually part of this problem, especially in sports, like we just said. And then Kirsten said our kids are growing up in such a pressurized environment. Now, the pressure, is that not part of it as well? You know, the pressure to perform and pressure to stand out.
I want to elaborate a little bit on what you just said, Simone. It's Simone, hey?
Yes.
Simone, yes.
It just okay. It slipped my mind. You spoke about the high-performing student that cannot get lower marks because they have to maintain the label of being the smart kid. They have to maintain their accolades. They have to maintain their achievements. They have to maintain it. So on the one hand, we have the performing child under a lot of pressure of maintaining it. On the other hand, they don't want to speak up about the bullying because they don't want to seem weak. And it's almost as if high performers often tell me, I feel it's wrong for me to go and complain because I'm already the high performer. I'm already the talented one. And now I complain. So it's not right of me complain, so I will just, take it. So on the one hand, they have to maintain those degrees or the team or the performance. On the other side, they have the fear of being the weakling. And on the other side, they feel almost ashamed of complaining. So it's this little triangle in which they have to find themselves. And that is why a lot of high performers, at one point, they have emotional meltdowns. Some of them have suicidal ideations. Some of them just drop out of the sport. Some just, drop out of school and they say, I don't want to be in a normal school anymore. I want to be a homeschooler because I can't deal with the bullying anymore. Because the whole system of not allowing achievers to complain is part of the bullying in itself. And I would like to touch on one of the viewers said that parents are part of this problem. On the one hand, we don't empower our strong kids. We don't empower our strong kids for when the jealous crowd comes. When we don't know how to empower them. We dismiss it with a little turn of cheek, don't look at them, don't mind them. But we don't really empower them. That's the one thing. The other thing is we live in a highly competitive world where parents become part of that problem. So not only are the strong kids not being empowered, but they have to not only face the bullying of the peers, they have to face the bullying of parents next to the sports field. They have to face the comments. They have to face all those things. So now, typically, the high-performing child is usually, not always, but usually, they are well-adapted, well-mannered kind of. Because, I've had support, I have this talent, I come from a place where I've seen victory, I've seen a lot of things. So now they feel I'm being bullied by an adult, but it's not my place to speak up.
And
so the bullying from parents.
Against your parents.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been taught, respect the elders, respect the elders. So I'm not going to say anything. Especially like the one viewer said, especially in sport, people will start spreading gossip, or they will just isolate kids. You know what I've had, let me give a few examples to show how the parents are part of the problem. I've had, I'm going to give one or two examples. I've had a girl, she was a netball player, and she and her friend, they were part of, they were provincial players. So they were the talented two in the team. And what happened is one of the moms started the night before the game. She would invite the whole team for a sleepover and working their way up to the game, but not those two. She would buy all the kids in the team, buy this little water bottle, and everyone will pitch with the little snack and stuff, but not those two. So those two were completely sidelined, isolated. So what happened in the games, what would happen is typically the five that were not the best achievers on the field, they typically, in the game, they would sideline these two girls. They would sideline them. And in halftime, this is what the one mom, when she phoned me, and she said, Greta, I really have a problem. My child doesn't want to play anymore. She said, during halftime or quarter time, what would happen is the coach would be hard on those two because you are my team. Where are you? You're not even part of the game. So now all the bricks would come tumbling down on these two kids. Meantime, it's a whole manipulative thing, and it doesn't only come from the team. It came from the mother, the mom that kind of had to set her child up, her kids. Yeah, because she felt that her child wasn't seen, her child wasn't chosen. I've had another case of a hockey team here in Pretoria, and what happened is one mom, the year before, the specific year, the year before she started inviting the coach to different kind of things. She would give her tickets, free tickets to go and watch a show. She would, sign up to sponsor certain stuff. And then it's a manipulative thing because now, the day of the trials, that mom will be there. That mom will pitch with her little Powerade and snack for the coach or, for the referee. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's not only in the bigger, high competitive kind of schools. It's often in the smaller schools where they don't have the financial backing to send kids, away on a tour or to buy them, the little backpack or the water bottle. So now the minute that the mom starts, sponsoring stuff, they feel obliged to choose that child to select them into the team. And, we're slightly going off topic here, but it's a way of parents securing their child's place at the cost of the stronger one. So the stronger one, the stronger competitor, they pitch, they are not selected, or they are not made the captain, and they feel, but what does the coach have against me? I don't want to play anymore because the kids, they sideline me. They have these sleepovers. I don't have the same water bottle. They have this little WhatsApp group. Even with practice, they pitch with certain kind of colors. Today we are practicing in blue, but we will not let that girl or that guy we won't let them know. So it's such a sneaky way of bullying kids and getting your own child promoted. So I think the parents, you know, we see this in primary school. In primary school, we see parents having their grade 1, grade 2, grade 3 kids having extra, extra coaching for netball and rugby and athletics. And you know what? No Protea, no Springbok is made in grade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. They're not made in that season. But the minute that parents start getting all this extra coaching, I'm not saying extra coaching is wrong. I'm saying that the motive behind it sometimes is wrong.
100%.
And if the motive my kid needs to achieve, or my kid needs to be noticed, or my kid needs to be chosen or selected, then the pressure starts. And if I'm the child that is being coached extra, and I'm the one having the little sleepover, now I'm also the child that does not want to disappoint my parents by not being selected. So what do I, as a child, what do I need to do? I need to outwit, outplay the strong competitor. And how do I do it? I start gossiping. I give them a label. I sideline them on the field. I mock them in the classroom academically. And I start spreading rumors that they cheated, or that not only did they cheat, that the teacher always gives them questions beforehand, or it's because their mom or their dad is a teacher at the school, or whatever I can get my hands on, I will use it to give them a bad name. And here we have the high performer against parents, against a system that dismisses it, the high performer as being bullied, at pressure of, can I complain? And the other thing is, I don't want to be bullied anymore, so I'm just going to quit. So it's such a messy world for high performers when the parents and the teachers don't treat this the right way and don't give prominence and importance to the strong competitors as well. It becomes a very toxic place for highly talented kids. And they're highly talented because it's not only about talent, it's also about popularity. So sometimes it's not necessarily a high achiever, but it's the pretty girl. It's the guy that is labeled the hunk, the attractive one. So it's popularity as well. So I don't want people to mistake this and think, oh, it's only about sport and academics. No, it's being popularity as well.
Yes. I just want to add something.
Yeah.
So Greta, like you just mentioned, I want to say that it's incredibly important for parents to, and we touch on this as well in our series, but your behavior is a mirroring effect for your child. So now you are at the netball field and you are screaming and bringing Powerade and arranging sleepovers. What will happen with that little girl? She sees that as, this is the correct behavior. I'm mirroring my mom. I'm looking up to my mom. And this is the behavior that I will follow. I will follow in her footsteps because this is right. And that is how our problem starts. Because our bullying behavior starts at home. It doesn't start at school.
I want to read the next comments, if I may. Lindy, which is your mom. She said social media also puts a lot of pressure on our kids, which young kids have too much access to. Then Samantha also said, I see bullying starting from as young as grade R, and we struggle with a lot, and now in grade 1, and friends and family with the kids upwards. How can we resolve this and incorporate it into our schools to get it under control? Elmarie said, what role can teachers and schools play in educating our kids and parents about bullying? I think that's very important. I've just got 2 more that I want to read, and then I want to actually ask a next question. Then Reinhard said, stop siding with your teacher's favorite kids. Everybody must be treated equally, exactly what we've said up to now. And then Anita said, Greta, how prevalent is it that highest performing students are bullied by their own parents to keep on performing so that mom and dad can live through their child's performance in sports? And I think that is a very good question, because you know, we so quickly to think that we have that Springbok in grade 1. And we want to push him or her into what we want to have done. And I just laughed because my grandchild said he's going to play rugby, and we said, all right, we're going to support him. And then he went to the teacher and said, I don't want to play rugby. Now I was a rugby player. I would love to see my grandchild as a rugby player, but is it fair for me then to push him into this area where he's uncomfortable in? Am I not bullying him into something if I say, yeah, you have to do this? And then the next question for both of you, how do we stop this?
I don't think we're ever going to stop this. You know, I hear the term bully-proof, how to bully-proof someone. I don't think we can bully-proof someone. I think we can empower people and give them better perspective, because the bullies are going to come. Because that is how society works. People want to outsmart, outrank, they want to be visible, they want to be seen, they want the accolades, they don't like being the weak link, and people are downright mean. I think the thing is, we need to say that you touched on parents bullying their children into being the performer or taking part in a certain activity. Bullying always boils down to insecurity and power. It's always the insecurity and the power. Yeah, that's what all bullying boils down to. And if I'm an insecure parent, I might have been the achiever when I was in school. But I don't realize that my identity is not as an ex-rugby player. And that is an insecurity. So maybe I was the Springbok, or maybe I was the Blue Bulls player, or maybe I was the Protea netball or whatever. Maybe I was the academic achiever. Maybe I was Miss Mpumalanga or whatever. Maybe I was that. But as a parent, as a mature person, if I think that that is my identity, that means I have an immature insecurity somewhere in myself. And it is my insecurity that is bullying my child into making me look better. But it's my insecurity. So I think, you know what, there's no easy answer to this. Empowerment, more talks like these, more open talks amongst teachers, empowering teachers how to work with this, and dealing with reports and complaints. If we keep on having the discussion, like tonight, there might be a parent listening and hearing that, oh my gosh, you know what? My child does not want to play rugby, but I'm pushing him every year to play rugby. Maybe tonight there's one parent that hears, your boy, your son will resent you in time.
Yeah, and it's going to happen.
And not only that, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Either he or she is going to resent you for all the pressure that they've endured from legal parenting, or they are going to try and please you, but get to a place where they will have a complete emotional meltdown. So how do we stop this? Talk by talk. Because maybe there's one parent who hear us, they hear us tonight, and they realize, okay, you know what? Maybe I should just let go of my bullying through my kid. Maybe I can tell you this one thing from my own experience. I've got 4 daughters, and all of them are fairly good public speakers. They are fairly confident speakers, so they typically, you know, did all the debates and all of those stuff. And a few of them ended up in, at the nationals, and they really achieved a lot of stuff. And then my one daughter one year came to me and she said, "Mom, I don't want to do this. I don't like it." So now, immediately, I saw her talent. And I wanted to immediately tell her, "But remember, you're so talented. Don't throw it away."
Exactly.
But I heeded my own advice, and I said, "You know what? If you don't like it and you don't want to do it, you don't have to."
Yes.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of parents are listening to me now, and they say, "Oh, Greta, so you are bringing up a lot of quitters. You are bringing up kids that say, 'Oh, I don't like it. I don't want to do it.'" I think in a healthy family, we're going to know the healthy boundary of how to push our kids into trying and, and testing their talent on the field and trying their best. But if I have a healthy relationship with my child, they will be able to tell me, "Mom, I really don't like this sport. This is not for me." And then I'm going to stop the pressure. I'm going to stop trying to overcommit them to that sport. So what happened with my one daughter is the teachers, they phoned me and they said, "Greta, how can you allow this? She was at the nationals last year. How can you allow this? She's so brilliant." And I said, "You know what? I spoke to her, and it's not only that she wants to quit. She says she would like to try other things. And this takes up a lot of her time. And you know what? She likes spontaneous talks. She doesn't like rehearsed stuff. So I want to introduce her to new stuff and allow her to try new stuff. So I want to support her in that. And for 3 or 4 years, she didn't compete at all. And at her own pace in grade 10, she said, "Mom, you know what, this year, I want to compete again." And she did brilliant because she wanted to. It was her passion. So yes, it's a common thing. Parents that often say, "But you have the talent. Why not do it?" I see a lot of pressure, especially the year before the prefects or the leaders are chosen. You have to do this and this and this and this, because remember, the prefects or the leaders at the school, the council at school, will be chosen from the kids who participate in all these things.
Exactly.
What is my child here? I have an expectation. You have to become a student council. You have to become a prefect. So actually, I give my child a lot of fear, a lot of stress. I give them a lot of anxiety. And the fear is to disappoint me.
Yeah,
So the parents who pressure, is a huge problem on their own kids.
We tend to, like I said, discussion this evening, we went through the fact that we pressurize them into things that they don't necessarily want to do. I just want to read one thing here. Heidi said, and she answered a question that Elmer's asked about what does the schools do, and there's a lot of education that we need to do within as well, and we need to be open to listening, I think, more, and like you said, there's discussions. I hope that is taking something home and saying, I should have listened there, or maybe I should listen more here. And I think a lot of times we don't understand.
Thank you.
And
Can I just here?
I want to add to what you said.
Sorry, can't really hear when you speak.
I know it's very difficult. I'm going to go to Restream after
one of your one of your viewers commented on social media and screen time. it would be a big help if parents took away screens more readily, if they screens at a later age. My grandchild visited me the past 3 weeks, and we had a ball of a time. And her mom, my daughter, is very strict with screen time. So she's not allowed to have more than 20 minutes, and she's already turning 6. She's not allowed to have more than 20 minutes a day of screen time. And then it's only pre-selected stuff. And what I saw is, because she was with me for 3 weeks, her parents weren't here, we kept on watching the same thing. And one night, I don't know the toddler game anymore because I'm a parent of more adult kids. So I said, you know what, let's watch this one together. So I put on another program. In Gethsemane, I had to stop it within the first 2 minutes. It's a typical young child, toddler program. But the people or the characters are gunning one another. Oh, I don't want to play with her. She is mean.
Exactly.
Let's go and play with somebody else. So now, if I'm not a vigilant parent, if I just put my child in front of a screen, I'm busy preparing my food or I'm watching another program in another room because I feel confident that she's only watching a toddler kind of series or program, but I don't know the content. Tomorrow, precisely that what Simone said, they will mimic that behavior. At school, on the school ground, they will say, I don't want to play with you. You are so mean. Come on, let's leave her. Let's go and play alone. Because they mimic. If we go on to typical primary school kids, on their favorite apps, I mean, if you go and have a look at in the gaming world, young kids, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, they play very violent games, or games where they have to outwit and outsmart one another. And if I can feel you on the screen, then I will score. If I can gun you down, my high score will be higher. I will be the winner. So what we actually do is we teach our kids with all the screens and all the gaming and stuff, we teach them that, you know what, if you want to win at life, undercut the rest. Tall poppy syndrome. So we rob our kids of empathy. Because every time that I hurt somebody on screen, or every time that I win on screen, I feel good. And kids get used to that dopamine. They can get used to that feel-good moment. So when they're in the classroom and somebody has a better answer than them, or they're more popular, or smarter, or prettier, or stronger, I've been taught a recipe in my gaming world. I've been taught a recipe. I need to kill you. I need to outflank you. I need to isolate you. I need to mock you. So it's not only parents. It's not only teachers. It's not only the kids that are the problem. It is really the amount of screen time that kids have. And I know that a lot of parents are going to say, Greta, luckily, you know what? My kids, they have a parental control app on their phones. Listen, parents, I can teach you, I can tell you about parental control because this is what I do in schools. When I go to primary schools and I ask them, how many of you have parental control apps on your phone? Their hands will go up and I'm grateful. I'm very ungrateful for the amount of kids that have cell phones, but I'm grateful that nonetheless, a lot of them have parental control apps. And then I ask the question, how many of you know the password?
Yeah, they most probably everybody knows.
And then the hands go up.
Yeah.
And I say, how do you know the password? And they say stuff like, ma'am, all my mom's passwords are the same. Or they're smart. They say, ma'am, you know what? I screen recorded my mom's installment of the app on my phone. I screen recorded it. Because parents aren't technologically clued up. So they don't even realize.
Yeah.
I have primary school kids that have different SIM cards. So they have different accounts, and the moment that they go home, they put in the SIM card with the parental control app, with all the stuff. They create different accounts that parents are not aware of. So if we talk about bullying in general, I think, and we said that we're not going to make the life that long, so I think in kind of starting towards the end, I think we should say, parents, this is for parents, accept your child's talent, passion, popularity, and ranking. Accept it and love them for who they are. Deal with your own trauma of not being selected when you're in school, or deal with your own little dream that your child needs to be a copycat of who you are. Then, parents, let's empower our kids with solid identity. Let us strengthen them with who they are. In our just average, everyday talk, not only when they perform or achieve, just for who they are. When they fail, let's cheer them on for trying.
Yes.
So that they don't become anxious about being weak or not chosen.
And you have to
Let's
fail
keep
fast.
away screens from them as long as possible. When our kids come and they complain or they tell us that somebody's being mean to us or whatever, do not dismiss it. Do not try and teach them how to get back at that person. Listen, support, be there. Loop in the school so that your child will be protected. Then parents, let's step out of the competitive game. Do not become part of the parents next to the sports field bad-mouthing the other team or bad-mouthing the other player in our team. Let's show a proper example. Then teachers, follow procedure and report and complain as serious. I know that teachers are very overwhelmed and very overworked and extremely underpaid. I realize that. But the thing is, you may be able to save a child because you never know at which place in the rope that child is by the time that they come to complain. Maybe they are at the rope's end. And taking the complaint as serious and not only throwing it out and say, I don't want to hear your stories. Go sort it out. Go sort it out. If you step into the seriousness of a complaint, you may be able to save a life. I can really, I can only, um, what is aanmoedig?
Encourage.
Encourage, thank you. I can encourage teachers
Okay, Elmarie.
to go and read up about the different, about the different temperaments of kids. Because often, a loud kid that will be hammered seem very strong and confident. Often, have a different kind of temperament of kids who they just want to make sure. So they keep on asking questions. So they will be gunned. It's not because they're stupid. Personality, they need to make sure. So teachers need knowledge of different personalities in the group. If you see that there is one high performer that always gets mocked or labeled or laughed at or isolated, then be clever about it. Simply give the opportunity to answer to another child. Stop giving the accolades in front of the whole group to the high achiever. The high achiever. If you are a parent or a grandparent that have a kid in your own home that have complained about the same thing a lot of the time, do not teach them how to fight back. Teach them how to follow protocol and support your child. We have so many parents in South Africa who have lost a child to suicide, and then afterwards they learn that the child was bullied.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
That
parents,
is a lot.
I cannot underscore enough how important it is that you check in with your child and don't assume that they are okay because they are the head boy or because they are the high achiever or because they are the leader of the pack, they are popular. Do not underestimate what your child is going through. So check in with your child on a daily basis. Check out for the signs that your child is being bullied. And you don't have an excuse anymore. You can even, if you don't know a counselor, if you don't know how to look up stuff, download ChatGPT. ChatGPT and go and ask them,
Yeah.
what should I as a parent do when? And check out which of those things can possibly work for you. But let us heal the world from this high competition, from the high pressure on the performance. And we cannot do that if we don't start in our own homes.
100%.
I think that's very
Yeah.
important.
And I actually want to add to that, Greta. So, I mean, obviously, our daily lives is really rushed, right? I mean, if you get home at 5, it's making supper or doing some homework. So we actually tend to pass each other. It's really just a good night, see you tomorrow type of thing. And I really want to encourage parents out there to be involved with your child's life, and like you just mentioned as well, but to provide a space for growth and to back down from pressure. I don't think parents actually realize the enormous pressure that they put on their children. I mean, if I can just share a little bit of it from my personal childhood, my parents usually used to say that nothing is too big or too small to come to us, and they provided that space. We won't be disappointed, we will help you, but come to us, tell us what's wrong so that you can speak up and that we can support you. And I really want to encourage that. If the space is there and it's a safe space, suicide will also be something of the past.
Greta, thank you. Thank you very
Absolutely. No, this is a big topic, and I don't think we can ever cover it, even with you guys that did a series on this, because this is only the tip of the iceberg. Um, we can just, create awareness amongst teachers and parents, and even there might be a teenager or a child even who have stumbled upon it tonight, and they are actually listening. Yeah. So we need to start a different kind of cycle, and it needs to start with us. So thank you so much for inviting me. This was really a privilege. With the delay and all the challenges before we started, I appreciate it, and I really hope that it helps somebody.
You don't know my panic when I realized I wouldn't be able to hear you. I mean, everything would be fine, but I didn't think of what am I going to do to hear back, because what I've got set up there is not conducive to listening to, that's why we have a little echo as well. But Greta, thank you so much. I just want to look at Elmarie, because she has to come and press the unalive button, if I may say that. So, not yet. Yes, okay. We've done them all. And I want to say thank you very much. We struggled, I know that we at one stage struggled to get hold of you, and it is so nice to actually speak to you. But I just want to add to something as well. You've got also a seminar or a thing on bullying as well. I don't know if you're going to repeat that, or you just did that as a once-off. But if it's going to be repeated, we'll add it onto the description, and people might actually join in the next time. And one last thing I wanted to say is that when you and I discussed tonight as well, you asked me, how long do you think we're going to talk? And I said, maybe 15 minutes or 20 minutes. We'll see how it goes. And I think, just to give you we've been 55 minutes. What a night, and thank you so much for joining us. Sumane, thank you so much for your side as well. I really enjoyed it, and I think there's so much to learn. What I think the biggest thing that I've taken away is that we set the example, teachers set the example, and we need to be open to listen to our children.
100%. Thank you so much, Greta, and thank you, Bulletin, for providing this opportunity and this space to actually end off our series of becoming bully proof. It was really such a privilege, and I think there's most definitely parents out there that got a message and taking it forward. So thank you so much, Greta.
But well done, you guys. Well done on creating awareness. Well done. Hats off to you.
And thank you for everyone that watched the bulletin. We had ups and downs, so thank you very much. I'm going to ask Elmarie just to kill the live feed for now. Thank you very much, Elmarie.
All right, cheers, bye.
Bye.